And happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. We are here to go over our day 10 math in the distance learning packet, and looks like we're going to start today with a math task. Here we have a number line, and we're going to be comparing numbers, this kind of similar to what we've been doing, comparing numbers based on their place value of each digit. And we're getting into some number lines here. So A is asking us to plot the following numbers on the number line. So they've given us numbers and we need to plot them. We have 456, 983, 938, 425, we have 220, 202, 799. And as you can see, there are some numbers that are very similar. If you look at 220 and 202, and that's where the place value is going to come into effect, because we really need to pay attention to each digit, because where that number is going to be placed on the number line is going to depend on the place value there. And the same thing with, we have here 983 and 938, where it is the same numbers, they are just in a different order. That order and its place value is going to depend on where they are plotted on this number line. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go in order. So we have 456. We know that that is going to go in between 400 and 500. And 450 is going to be about right in the middle. And then the 456, you're going to just go slightly over halfway, because 450 is the midway point between 4 and 500. So 456 will need to be plotted right there. The next number we're going to look at is 983, and we know that is going to be, because it's going to be, there's a 9 in the hundred spot, so we know it's going to be after 900, but it's going to be before 1,000. So let's go ahead and look at the 10 spot. We have an 8, so we know it's going to be more than halfway. So we have 983. So if I was going to plot that, it's going to be almost to the thousands, because if we look at 983, it's not quite 1,000. So we're going to plot that right there. Next, we're looking at 938. And again, noticing that there's a 9 in the hundreds column, we know that this is we're going to find the 900 on our number line, and it's going to be past 900. Looking at the tens column, there's a 938. We know 950 would be the midway point, so it's going to be before the midway point, so somewhere between 900 and the midway point. So we're going to go here. That's about the midway point would go here, and just before that would be 938. So we're going to plot 938 right there. Looking at our next number, we have 425. We know it's going to be after 400. Find the 400 on our number line. And that's going to be about a quarter of the way through, so not quite halfway. This would be about halfway point, and put it just before that, in between the 4 and 500. Next, we're going to look at 220. So looking at the 2 is in the hundred spot. We know it's going to be after the 2. Looking at the tens column here, we have a 2. So we know it's not going to be midway point. It's just going to be slightly after 200. So I would plot that about right there. About right. That would be the 220 here. Sorry. And then we're looking at 202. Again, it's going to be after the 200. There is not a digit in the tens column there. That's a 0. So then we're moving on to the ones, 202. We know it's going to be just slightly after 200. So it would basically be putting your dot on the 200 spot and moving over 2 columns. So just slightly after 200 is where that would be plotted. And then finally, our last number is 799. We know it's going to be on the number line between 7 and 800. Depending on the tens and the ones value is going to depend on how close or how far away it is going to be from either number. So here we have 799. We know that is almost 800. It's not quite 800. It is one digit away from 800. So we're just going to plot that just before the 800 on that number line. And that is how we plot the following numbers on the number line. So let's go ahead and we are going to move on to B now. And it's where we're going to use the same numbers that were plotted in the last slide, and we need to choose 8 pairs of numbers from those you plotted on the number line, and we're going to compare them. And as you can see here, we have the less than and greater than symbols. So we need to compare numbers to make these true. So we can't move